Hello, welcome back to Called to Homeschool with Meg Thomas. I am your host, your homeschool guide. Excited to be here in our 18th year of homeschooling, mother of seven. 5 kids are homeschool graduates, still have 2 at home, and I love sharing all my expertise and knowledge and helping you create the most amazing homeschool of your dreams. I have really loved doing these questions. I just think it is really, really helping people, and that at the end of the day is what I want to do, is I want to help people to have an amazing journey and an experience with homeschooling, and so I am so glad that, people have been writing in and asking so many questions. So if you have questions, please send them in. You can fill that out on my Instagram, Coach Meg Thomas, in my bio or in my weekly newsletter. So this question comes from Christina from Texas, and I think a lot of you might relate to this one. So she's asking, how can I integrate the fun things in a day to day? I thrive off schedules, so I love the freedom of homeschooling without scheduling. I tend to run into endless possibilities, and I get overwhelmed waiting to create a schedule. How did you know what to get for the games you use in your subjects, etc.? I'm not really creative, but love whimsical and mystery, but also want to integrate Christianity. So anything fun related, I I'm like, how can this be in a schedule? I homeschool the under the age of 6 years old. Okay, do you ever wonder this? Like, how can I add fun into a structured homeschool day without getting overwhelmed? Hence the title, right? And so I think sometimes would like we want to start with that mindset, right? Of even thinking of like, oh, we either have to be the super strict, rigid schedule or really fun. And we actually don't have to be one extreme or the other, but we can figure out a way to have a schedule and have fun. And so, even just playing with that possibility of like, I actually can do both. So, if you thrive off schedules, then you just need to work the fun into it. So, I have found in my personality that I'm really great with schedules, and I'm great at planning them, and I'm great at following through with them, and I'm really good with schedules. I'm not great with spontaneity of just like, "Hey, we should go do this thing right now." That's like rarely does that happen for me. But I can plan my fun. I can say, "Okay, Wednesday afternoon, we're gonna go on this epic hike. It's gonna be amazing." Or Thursday morning, we're gonna go do this really fun thing. Because for me, I have to think about it. Maybe I want to look it up online or do something, and then I can work it in. Even with my youngest, with his school schedule, as I was writing it last month, of like, hey, we're going to do some handwriting, we're going to do some language arts, and we're going to play a game. Right. And so it's just right there in my schedule that we play this game. And then my kid starts learning that this is the rhythm and the flow. And then if my kid wants to be spontaneous and like, hey, mom, will you come play this card game with me? Then I'm like, yeah, I'm available and I can go do it. And I don't have to plan it. But if I want to have fun with it, I do have to have it part of my schedule. So you can even think of ways to do this, of building in maybe some gentle frameworks, something that just helps you to have a bit of a rhythm and a bit of a flow, right? So like we get up and we eat breakfast, we do our chores, we maybe do a little bit of a morning basket, we go on a walk, we come home, we do a little bit of structured learning, story and games, some snack, creative play, right? So we just have a little bit of a flow, and fun is just a part of it. And you can also just make things fun just by being silly, adding in a puppet to your school. That was when sometimes with my youngest, with my older kids, we had, if you've listened to the podcast for a while, we've had Lord Penguin, the puppet, who was kind of a bully, but they loved him. And Lord Penguin was just kind of passive aggressive and they thought he was hilarious. So a puppet made it really funny. But for my youngest, sometimes he'll go get a stuffed animal and the stuffed animal will teach him school. So just adding in like fun to the actual things. And then you could even think of like, is there a way to make this kind of structured so you don't have to think about it? So you know how like Taco Tuesday or Waffle Wednesday, people do that with their food. Like I don't want to have to think about cooking, so I just have some meals on repeat, Muffin Monday or whatever it is. You can do the same thing with school of like, hey, we do a different letter every day. So Monday's going to be out the A, and we're going to eat foods with the letter A, or maybe we're going to go to the grocery store and find as many foods as we can that start with A. We're going to find animals that start with A. Are there any colors that start with A? Right. And like, what is the sound of A? And so it can be really fun while they're also learning. We're going to practice writing the A, whatever that looks like. So just some ways and natural ways that it is structured, but still fun, because you can have both. And then, this part of, like, I tend to run into endless possibilities. Yes, it is. Like, there really are so many possibilities with homeschooling. And so coming back to, like, what do I value? What is important to me? And like getting rid of this fluff of things that don't matter to you. And not that fluffy things are ever bad, but if it doesn't really matter to you or if your kid really hates it, like, then that's off the table. So even that mindset of endless possibilities, like, it's not actually endless. Like, I can actually pack up today and head to Antarctica so we can go study penguins. So maybe I don't have endless possibilities. Maybe I need to reframe that of just like, there are a lot of choices, but I can narrow it down. I don't have to teach my kid everything, right? And just helping you to kind of shrink it in so that it's not like there's so many choices I'm overwhelmed and I can't make any choice, but just like I don't have to teach my kid everything. What is actually important to me? That's why I like figuring out what you value and all of those good things. The next part of the question is, how did you know what to get for games to use in your subjects? You try. Some games are amazing and some games are huge flops. I've done like I found a fun math bingo game that my kids really liked. I don't ever do spelling, but I will play Boggle with my kids and Bananagrams with my kids. And some of my kids love those games and some of my kids don't. Right. And so the only way to know is to try different games. I have on my Amazon store some different educational games that I like you can check out. I'm starting to create some. So it's like little games to sound out words, just different fun things like that. But the only way to figure out how to use games in your subject and which ones you like and don't like is by trying some, right? And seeing which ones work best for you. But don't dismiss like the simplicity of things like Candyland because you're learning to count, learning your colors, and you're having fun and you're connecting and like teaching them that learning is fun, right? Even what my boys love Monopoly. And when George is 8 now, but they were playing it when he was quite little and he was learning some really impressive addition because his brother would rip him off or whatnot of Monopoly. So he was learning quite a bit in of math by playing Monopoly. But just like lots of different games, you can use games you have around your house. You could get chalk, make a hopscotch outside, right? You just try different things and find what resonates with your child. Um, and then as far as adding in Christianity, so anything fun related with that, like you can decide scripture stories are really fun, acting something out. Right? Like, let's make a little video of little characters acting out a story from the Bible. Let's find something fun like that that we could do. Is there a cute little YouTube video where this already exists and we could watch it together? Little games where you could play of just kind of creating your own of guess who this character is. Like he was in a den of lions and these lions did not eat him, right? And it was like, who is this guy? Whatever it is, just like start trying to have ideas with it. But you've really got to work with this mindset of like, I'm not really creative. I don't know how to do these things. Of like, but what if I'm creative in a different way? Um, and like, I don't wanna have to create things from scratch, but I can be really creative of how we get something done, right? And so, like, you just working on that mindset piece of, like, I can make this fun, and maybe the fun is just you, your personality, like, I can be silly and we can do voices, but it doesn't have to be every day doesn't have to be, like, slapstick humor, Three Stooges type stuff, right? But I can as we're doing math, we can have some fun with it. As I'm doing what? Like, just really getting curious too of like what isn't fun about what we're doing. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of questions here to like really dive into with this even on a deeper level. So just like to sum it all up, right? Really working on that mindset of like I can make anything fun and letting go of that like I'm not really creative of letting that thought go because it's probably not going to serve you. But maybe I'm creative in my own way. I can figure things out. I can Google anything, right? AI like can plan lots of fun things for you. I mean, good laws. You could even ask AI like, what is a fun lesson plans for a 6-year-old? But then just coming back to those basics too of like I can have a schedule and have fun. It's not one or the other. And I can even schedule in that fun. And then is building in that gentle framework of like, what is the rhythm that we want to do? What's like one way we could add in fun every day? Is that a little game? Is that what? How could we add in a little bit of that every single day? So just remember that homeschooling littles is about building love for learning, You can build in those faith foundations, connection, habits, all of those ideas, and just do it slow and simple. Like, what's one simple thing I could do each day to make it a little bit more fun? And if it's not really feeling fun, you may look at too of like, is there something I'm doing that's making it not fun? So, am I trying to make a 6-year-old do over an hour's worth of structured learning? And it could actually just be 15 and that it's still fun, right? So, just some of those things to kind of get curious with. Anybody else struggling with this too, that you can have structure and fun, they can coexist. So, hope that helps, friends. And I will talk to you next week. Have a good one.